said, I have a wonderful, wonderful friend today. I'm going to give a brief bio of the wonderful things that she does, and I'm going to let her continue with whatever I left out. So Francesca James, welcome. She's an intuitive life coach and energy therapist. She combines her powerful spiritual guidance, intuitive voice, and healing hands with 15 years of sales and marketing as an award-winning account executive in the world of television advertising. I love this next one. As a result, she's a mama, sister, other mama, friend to a diverse following of individuals around the globe. And she is also the founding director of I Am Woman, the Agape International Spiritual Center, spearheaded by the visionary leader, Michael Bernard Beckwith. You've been the licensed spiritual healer of the Agape International since 1991. That's a long time. Long time. I know that I've left a lot of things, the wonderful things that you do out, but today I want to put the focus and attention on Reiki and the healing power of Reiki. And I know a lot of people know maybe a little bit about Reiki, but having a deeper conversation about the powerful healing modality that Reiki is. So welcome again.
Thank you so much, Bonnie. It's such an honor to be here. And I'm just excited to talk about Reiki because I think at this particular time in history that we're in, people need some Reiki. They need energy healing. Yes.
Yes. We talked about before the live, we had a short talk, and we talked about the craziness of the world that we're living in right now. I mean, if we just put the division aside of the ideologies and everything in between, I'm sensing that people are becoming more angrier, frustrated, short fused. That compassion somehow it's gone, and everybody is just, focusing on their own thing, and they don't have the patience to deal with anyone. Do you feel that? Do you see that?
Absolutely. I don't know how anybody could actually be living in the world right now and not feel that. There's just an intensity. And, because of my perspective and what I do, I believe that intensity is the detox. When you do a physical body detox, everything has to come up in order to come out. And I believe that's why we're seeing this amazing intensity of all kinds of emotions. Because there's a shift that's happening. There's another place, and it's just going to take a minute to get there. It's not going to happen quickly, but it calls for people like you and me, Bonnie, and maybe those who are out there who understand that there's something amazing, wonderful, good going on, and it feels really yucky.
I absolutely believe what you said, that in order for the cleansing to happen, all the yucky stuff needs to come out first. It's like cleaning your closet. Once you take everything out, the whole house is a mess until you put back everything where they belong. So yes, we are going through a cleansing period, and I truly believe that we all going to come out winners at the end of it, from the other side of it, more awakened, more compassionate, more empathetic, and definitely Reiki is modality that can help. Just briefly, from little that I know about Reiki is a form of energy healing technique that promotes relaxation, decreases stress, and balances the energy force, the life force that we have within us, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell, for those of us that may not know how Reiki works, go ahead and tell us a little bit about the foundation of Reiki.
Well, there are several methods of Reiki, and I utilize and teach Usui Reiki from Mikao Usui. It started in Japan hundreds of years ago. He downloaded this method. And so I believe very much in the tradition and the way that it's taught. And I think that that's important. I think, as a matter of fact, I know we live in a world where we take things that are traditional and we bastardize them and make them this and they call them this. And I just, there's really something important about sticking with the tradition of something the way that it was received, because it works.
Yes.
And it works. Reiki works beautifully. What it does is energy gets blocked in the system, or I call it misbehaving. Energy misbehaves. And when it's misbehaving, that means that it's not flowing. And in order for us to feel peaceful, to feel less stress, to be in a greater state of health, our energy should be in flow. And if a person has an injury, for instance, energy, like if, let's suppose someone hurt their knee, energy will lock up around the knee to protect it. Mm-hmm. But it's not then sharing itself with the rest of that limb. And in order for that healing to take place, it has to flow. So the Reiki practitioner, it's a very weird thing to explain. It really is. But the Reiki practitioner goes around the body and tunes into whether it's that they can feel it, or they have an intuitive knowing about it, or something. They sense into what the energy is doing, and they stay there with it until it flows. You're waiting for the flow, because it will flow if you stick with it.
Yes.
It's a lesson in life. If you stick with it and stay the course, what you're asking for will happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And everything is energy, even our emotional pain that sometimes causes the physical pain. If we don't process it, if we don't heal it, where does the energy go? It gets stored somewhere in the body, and it becomes like an ailment or a disease in the body.
That's exactly right.
I remember the very first time that I did Reiki, I had this pain in my chest. Mm-hmm. This was like many, many years ago. And medical doctors, everything, all the tests, nothing was showing that was out of the ordinary. Mm-hmm. And I was feeling this heaviness on my chest that I thought I was having a heart attack. Like mm-hmm. that solid heaviness on my chest. And then while I was laying on the Reiki bed, as soon as the therapist put the hand on my chest, I absolutely felt the flow of that energy. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like that heaviness, that solidness of that thing that was in my chest was dissolved. And I couldn't help but like sobbing through. I know Reiki, sometimes they say it's very relaxing, and people sometimes even fall asleep when they are having a Reiki session. But for me, as you said, it was cleansing, it was releasing, and I was like literally letting the toxins out of my body by and after like 10-15 minutes, I felt the flow. It wasn't heavy anymore. So it was a wonderful feeling to really kind of tune in with inside of you and see how things actually feel and move around when you're allowing them to flow.
Yes, absolutely. You're not the only one who sheds tears. People shed tears during Reiki, or sometimes they don't shed them till it's over. Sometimes they don't shed them until they've left me and go home or whatever. But oftentimes, because it is cleansing, and tears are cleansing, so it's a good thing. People experience Reiki in so many different ways. I send a form to them after they've had a session to say what to expect after an energy session, because it's different for everybody. Sometimes people are very invigorated. Sometimes people just want to go to sleep. It varies. It depends on the individual.
Mm-hmm. Depends on the individual and what they released, actually, what the pain was. Yes. And I wanted to touch on something that you mentioned: knee pain, physical injury, like things that happen physically in your body, and sometimes that emotional pain that gets stuck in your body causes. and causes physical ailment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Illness starts with the emotions, always.
Always.
It always starts with the
Even
emotions.
if we think that we just fell and, you know, hurt our knee, or, you
Mhm.
know, the headache that we don't even think about it, subconsciously, it has an emotional root to it, that
Yes.
something is blocking me. Something is blocking me from doing something, and that is an amazing thing to realize. And uh, what I'm trying to say is not to go to a Reiki session when you're in pain.
Yes.
When the pain is full blown out and you are, you know, you're in agony. It can be a preventive and a healing practice. That
I have people that come to me regularly once a month. I have one client who comes every week. And it's a good thing that he does. He comes every week. You know, it is preventative. And you know, the interesting thing, Bonnie, is sometimes people have like a shoulder injury and they'll come for a Reiki session because they know how profound it is, and they think that one Reiki session is supposed to heal it. It might, but you know, if you go to the chiropractor, you keep going. If you go to physical therapist, you keep going. If you go to all these other modalities, you keep going. Why would you not come back to Reiki? You know, it doesn't necessarily happen in one, because just like you said, you may have this pain, this tightness, this thing in your rotator cuff, but it's a manifestation of something else.
absolutely.
And so you've got to get to the depth of really what it is in order for it to actually truly be healed. You know, I mentioned teaching class, if you don't mind me telling this story.
No, absolutely.
I've been a Reiki practitioner for 19 years. 19 years. Whew. And have been regularly facilitating Reiki on people for 19 years. And I did all three levels. The third level of Reiki is master teacher, so that you can teach people to teach. But I never cared about teaching. I never cared about teaching people, you know. I just wanted to help people to heal. But I have, and it's, you know, getting better. I have a thing that's going on the left side of my body that has emotional root to it. I'm very clear about that. And I went to several Reiki practitioners and nothing was changing. And it wasn't making sense to me because I know what Reiki can do. And so my oldest daughter said, "Mom, you need a you." And I was like, "I know, but I can't find me." And then I went, "Am I supposed to teach?" And I took a vacation last summer to Peru with that question on my mind, and I got a resounding yes. So I actually taught my first Reiki Level 1 class, I guess it was the end of February, and they're going on to Reiki Level 2 in May. And I'm so excited because some of them have done their practice on me. And they've worked on me, and already with these students who aren't even Reiki Level 2 yet, I feel the shift and the change and the improvement in my own physical body. And I've realized some things that I think are missing in what's being taught, that seem apparently to be missing in what's being taught. And part of that, what we talked about, stay the course. You've got to stay the course. You do not move until you feel the shift. You don't move until you feel a shift in that person's body. So I'm really excited to be teaching class.
That's what
Never thought I would, but it's, God, my students are just, they blow my mind.
you
They're
need to share
amazing.
your gift.
Yes.
More people need to know about the wonderful gift that you have. And it's yes, so wonderful. I'm so excited that you're doing this. I love for people that are watching us to really go on your page, find you and follow you, and find out where you're doing the teaching, and really do that. So Reiki cannot be, you can't do Reiki on yourself, can you?
You can. And actually, in Reiki Level 1, you learn to do Reiki on yourself and on your family and friends. You can't see clients yet at that point. And it's interesting from the very beginning. Doing Reiki on myself has been difficult for me because I'm in it and trying to do it at the same time. And so it's a conflict for me. If it's a minor thing like, oh, I stubbed my toe, I hurt my finger, or, you know, thing like that, that's easy. But what's going on in my body, part of it, I can't even get my hands to it, you know. But what's going on in my body is so deep that well, you know, again, things are always more than they seem. I was supposed to teach, you know.
Universe has a very, very precise way of telling you what you need to do and what your purpose is.
That's exactly right.
It kind of pushes you towards that, you know.
Mm-hmm,
Give you a nudge in the beginning, and if you're not paying attention, it keeps pushing and pushing.
It keeps pushing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's so much more than that, but yes, you can absolutely do Reiki on yourself. And I guess if you're doing it every day, maybe you don't have the intensity of things that are going on, like what's going on.
Absolutely, yes. We all need a Reiki shield around us to go on.
Yes.
You know, I've read somewhere that if a pain chronic pain stays more than 6 weeks, it has emotional. So, and one of our viewers was saying that this disease is the root cause of disease. Absolutely.
Yes.
We feel that uncomfort and blockages in our body. And, you know, our limiting beliefs, Francesca, what we believe about ourselves. It's so, especially for women, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I need to do more. And we keep doing and doing and doing, and we forget to take care of ourselves.
Yes, that's
emotionally.
That is how I got to Reiki in the first place. Because I was that young, in my 40s, I was late 40s, crazy at work, was very successful at work, but busy. I had 2 young children at home. I had a husband, a relatively newlywed husband at home who had a young son. So I had all of these balls in the air. And I thought that I was on my schedule because I had 2-hour massages every other week. I would go to the acupuncturist when I felt ill, not preventative. You know, I did these things, but I was not absorbing anything. And, you know, I have a women's circle, and we had women's circle this past Monday night, and we talked about just what you're saying, putting ourselves on our schedules, putting ourselves on our plate, like truly, and knowing that we can say no. That if someone says, I know I was supposed to get this to you earlier in the day, but I didn't, and now I need it within a few hours, that you can at least say the words, I can't get it done in a few hours, but I can get it to you in the morning. You can say the words. And they can say, no, I absolutely have to have it tonight. But you can say the words and speak up for yourself and see what happens. When I was advertising I was in television advertising. It's an extremely busy, stressful industry. But when my children were young, in late elementary school and in middle school, and they would get picked up and taken home, and I'd come home from work and I'd ask them what had happened in school, and I got crickets. I asked my boss, I said, I need to leave work every day at whatever time they got out, 2:40, whatever, and go pick up my children from school and take them to the nanny and come back. And he said, okay. I was shocked. I was really shocked, but he said, okay. And I did it, and I got back as quickly as I could. I never missed anything, yet I was still very stressed. But I was at least able to talk to my kids about what their school day was, because right after school, they would share everything with me.
Right, yes.
And that's important to me. Yeah. But I was so stressed that I had 4th stage uterine cancer, and it was a 100% stress-filled illness, where my doctors thought I was going to die, but thank God they didn't tell me that until 2 years later. And it was how I discovered Reiki. I first reflexology, and then Reiki and the healing modalities, because I had a wonderful OBGYN who said, I know you believe in an alternative lifestyle. I can tell you these things that you're supposed to do, but I'm going to let you decide what it is that you do. And that's what I did. I did everything alternatively. And after 2 years, my oncologist shook my hand and said, "Congratulations, you're my most remarkable recovery ever." And that's when I found out it was fourth stage. I didn't know.
Wow.
He said, "I was not expecting you to make it, but it's because of everything that you were doing before and that you are continuing to do. That's the reason that you're alive."
Wow.
So
I mean,
people, get on somebody's Reiki table.
yeah.
Get some
And
energy
you
healing.
don't have to do any work. The practitioner, the therapist will do all the work for you.
That's the thing. That's the wonderful thing. You know, I was telling you, I did a post on social media recently where I was saying, well, we talked about mental health, because mental health it's a crisis right now. It just, as we were talking about in the beginning, there's so much depression and anxiety and mental illness out
Yes.
there. And, you know, you say, well, do this, go to a yoga class, exercise, eat right, drink water, do all these things. Sometimes if a person is that far gone, they can't do those things. They can't have discipline. But I say, get yourself on somebody's table. Just get yourself to the table.
Especially Francesca's table.
Especially Francesca James. And just all you have to do is lay there with your eyes closed, and you'll find that a shift takes place. And then maybe you can drink more water. Water is important. Water is so important. It's a simple thing for people to do. Or maybe you can get out and walk or whatever it is, whatever the thing is, maybe you can start to do that. And then you lose your discipline about it, get back on that table again, you know?
We have a couple of questions, Francesca.
Okay.
For our time. Someone was asking if Reiki is good for children and what age can they start doing Reiki? Yeah.
I think my grandson, I saw him earlier, is on this live. He could answer that question. He's 11 years old. He actually did a post for me, a video testimony for me, where he talked about how much he loves Reiki. He's an athlete, and he will sometimes call me. He calls me Umi and say, "Hey, you know, I hurt my elbow. Could you work on me?" And I work on him remotely, mostly. His mother said he is. I work on. That's the other thing. You don't even have to come to me. I can work on you remotely.
That's
Right.
wonderful. That's wonderful that a lot of people think that they have to really be physically
Right.
with you, but Reiki can be just as powerfully be done visually. Yes.
Yes. But I have done Reiki on him all of his life. And the one thing I will say with children, he's older now, so we do like pretty much a full hour, but children and animals receive Reiki so much quicker that you don't have to do the full time. And yes, you can do it on animals, and animals will tell you when they're done, because they will get up and leave. You go, "Wait, I wasn't finished," but they're like, "I'm finished."
Yeah, they know.
Yes.
And someone else was asking if it can be done for physical injuries. Yes, absolutely. I'll let you say if
For physical
illness, injuries.
Oh, yeah, absolutely physical. I mean, that's the thing that people think of Reiki for the first is physical injuries. And absolutely, you know, I had a client who had, he had been bothered by his knee for, I think, several days or a week or so, when he mentioned it to me, and I said, "Well, come get some Reiki." And that day, his knee was good. And then I saw him a week later. I was like, "How's your knee?" He's like, "Oh, my knee's good," you know? So again, it depends on the depth of what's going on with the person, but physical injury, absolutely. But remember that every physical manifestation comes from something emotional.
Absolutely.
It just does.
Yes. And everything starts with the inside and the emotions and everything that we're going through. Yeah, absolutely believe that. I'm just going to see if we have any more. I know I saw one more question. How often?
That's an individual thing. It depends on what's going on with the person. I think at the minimum, if a person is just really trying to let go of stress and there's nothing really serious going on with them, I tell them come once a month, every 6 weeks. If a person is really going through some stuff, then I say you need to come once a week for a minute. You know, we'll see how it goes. Maybe you come once a week, 3 times. It's such an individual thing. you know, I don't generally have someone come every day, but if it was real severe, I might say that. So it's completely individual.
He says, I've practiced on my daughter, age 9 and 14. They find it very relaxing and even requested. How wonderful.
Yes,
How
yes.
And you know, Francesca, I think if we put the physical ailment and healing the emotional part of it, if we do it as a preventive method of healing, what it does is when we are in our optimum vital health, the energy is flowing within us very smoothly, right?
Absolutely.
When the energy is moving smoothly and flows easily and effortlessly within our body, then we become more clear, more focused, more productive. We have more energy to do things. So it's not wait until I have something wrong with me to go see a Reiki therapist.
Right.
It definitely, if you want, I think we want more clarity, more focus, more attention, you know, more reasons to find out what your purpose is. It's
Absolutely.
all of that can be found in Reiki and the healing hand of the therapist, because it's not just the physical and the emotional ailment that we're getting rid of, but also clearing the clutter.
Yes. That's absolutely the truth. Because in a Reiki session, one of the things that's done is the clearing of the chakras. And if you don't know what the chakras are, they are the main energy centers of the body. There are many, but there are 7 major ones that are spoken of. And when you clear those chakras and make sure that they're rotating properly, your intuition opens up, your sense of support and being grounded opens up, your creativity opens up, your heart and your compassion open up, your ability to speak up for yourself. All of those things open up in a greater way. So there's so much in a 1-hour session that happens that's available for healing.
Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. I want to see if we have any more questions. And someone says it's absolutely mind-blowing, but distance Reiki healing works. Yes,
it is mind-blowing to me still today. I will work on someone and then I go, I hope that worked, to myself. And then I talk to the next day like, oh my God, this happened and I feel this. And, you know, it is mind-blowing. And there's many ways to do long distance Reiki. I use what's called a proxy. So I have a stuffed animal that I've had for 19 years. It's my go-to that I use. And because that way I identify where I am on a person's body. And generally you start with the head, and sometimes I can go, they are not, because I do it in a different way for most people. I find out when people are absolutely asleep. I work on people remotely while they're sleeping because I feel that they are the most receptive then. And I go, oh my God, their brain is so active and they're supposed to be asleep. So, you know, that's one of the things, is to help them quiet the mind at a time that they're supposed to be resting. And that helps them heal. But then you go, it is, I mean, I go through the body just like I do if they're in person, and I can feel things. It's kind of crazy. And sometimes I'm surprised because you see a person and, you know, you see their personality and you see they look really peaceful and calm. And then when you go in and work on their energy, you realize that they're like this. They're like, so, and they really need that calming and that relief of stress.
Yes. It's interesting you say that. During the pandemic, I do hypnotherapy, and during the pandemic, I had a hypnotherapy request, and we couldn't see people in person. So I said, let's try it remotely. In the very beginning, it was a little bit challenging because I tuned with the, you know, body language and, you know, every little movement that the body does to see where that body is right now. Is it in trance? Is it moving? How's the energy going? So I decided to tap into the breathing.
Ah.
as a way of connecting with the client.
Mm-hmm.
And tapping into the breathing actually was, I don't want to say more than, but it was amazingly effective to do the session. Because
Mm.
you really feel that energy,
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see if
Yeah.
they are calm and if they're still activated,
Yeah.
where they need to be, and you can adjust that energy level with how you ask them to do their breathing, like a little
Yeah.
slower, a little bit gentler. And I think the same goes with Reiki and how you um, connect with the energy of the client.
Yes, absolutely. I had one client that I worked on remotely. I lived out of state. And the instant I went in, I was like, oh my God, she's carrying so many people in her space. She can't even get to her own feelings. You know, I had never felt that before. It's like, I've got to clear all these people out of her space so she can even know what she feels like. And she, the next day was like, oh my God, I felt so relaxed. And so, I mean, you know, it was a whole shift for her. It's amazing. That's all I can say. I am fascinated after 19 years. And I am so excited to have people working on me who know what they're doing.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Uh, Promise me, Francesca, to come back.
Absolutely. I would love
I
to.
know you do so many other things I want to learn more about. I'm a woman from the Agape International. Learn more about that. I know you do a diverse, many things that you do, and I like to have other conversations with you.
Absolutely.
If this was a pleasure, it was great seeing your beautiful face again.
You too, Bonnie.
Thank you for accepting the invitation. And people, go find Francesca. Tell the viewers your where they can find you.
Well, you're on Facebook, and I am Francesca S. James on. I'm sorry, not Facebook, on IG.
Instagram.
So you can always DM me there. My website is Francesca Francesca -James.com. And you can email me at Francesca@Francesca-James.com.
Beautiful,
All those
beautiful.
ways. I would
Yes.
love to hear from you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful evening, and I hope to speak with you soon.
All right. Thanks, Bonnie.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for being here.